The other day, I put out a video talking about what Hazbin Hotel episodes may actually be like when the series finally comes, and following that, the full list of titles for the first season of Hazbin Hotel surfaced online before making it to the more mainstream areas like Twitter and Reddit. I'm told these are not leaks per se, but official information, and after reviewing them myself, they don't seem to say anything that we didn't already know. Instead, these episode titles just give us context to the way the different ideas all fit into the season. So let's talk about them all today. Minor spoilers ahead, but nothing we haven't discussed in a video before, I think. Episode 1 is called Overture. Hazbin Hotel and Helluva are very obviously musical, with Hazbin Hotel shaping up to be even more musical than Helluva. Some of the cast are expected to be theater stars as opposed to TV or movie actors, and a lot of what VivziePop has hyped up previously was various characters having songs and even duets. An overture is an opening number in a musical and is meant to tell us that the show is one big musical adventure that we will be going on. With that in mind, I'm expecting multiple songs in every episode. Outside of that, what we know about this first episode mostly comes from the various gifs and previews we received this last year. These mostly focus on the different characters around the hotel doing their own little things, like Husk working at the bar, or Serpentious just being loud and annoying in his sleep. Some of these gifs may not be from the first episode, but spread across the entire season, as we know the season has been fully animated and complete for a while now. I still like to think the gifs we received so far are predominantly from the first episode, where we will be introduced to the majority of the cast again, just like in the pilot, but this time seeing what their regular lives are like after being established there for some time. Episode 2, Radio Killed the Video Star. This title is a reference to the song Video Killed the Radio Star, itself a musical narrative about how radio used to be popular until movies and TV overtook it. This has been used in previous live streams to talk about the relationship of Alistair, the overlord of radio, and Vox, the overlord of TV and screens in general. We received a gif of Vox having some sort of fatal error related to Alistair, and because of that, I've seen some fans speculate that this gif may be from episode 2 instead of introducing Vox in episode 1. However, Vox already appeared in the pilot, and I think a lot of the characters will at least make a small quick appearance in episode 1, such as this gif might be, before having more dedicated episodes about them later. Earlier this year, VivziePop explained that Millie didn't get a dedicated episode in Season 1 of Helluva because they were limited with how many episodes they had for the key story that they needed to tell. She explained that in a larger scale TV series, each episode would generally focus on a specific character, but Millie had to be given small moments wherever possible along the way of the already planned out main story. Hazbin Hotel, I imagine, will be more character focused from one episode to the next. Episode 1 will be a big group episode reintroducing us to the world, with a primary focus on Charlie trying to keep her system together. But episode 2 will likely be about Alistair. Alistair is a very big character who I think will get developed more so by the other characters in his life. So episode 2 will mostly focus on Vox, but we will learn a lot about Alistair through that, I believe. But future episodes will dive deeper into Alistair by exploring other characters from his past. Episode 3, Scrambled Eggs. Continuing this pattern of character-centric episodes, episode 3 seems to focus on Serpentious, famous for his little eggy boys in the pilot that help him with his doomsday operations. This gif of him sleeping may be from this episode, but I still think it's from episode 1, and this will be a quick reintroduction to his character. Vaggie and Angel seem sketched out by him, but not enough to do anything. It seems that Serpentious was talking in his sleep, so Vaggie came out with her spear to see what happened, but is doing nothing about it because Serpentious is now one of the guests at the hotel. With that in mind, he's probably hanging out there in episode 1 already, and episode 3 will just begin to focus on Charlie dealing with his issues and trying to get him to grow. Serpentious has a rivalry with Cherry Bomb, who is also Angel Dust's best friend, so I think this episode will also feature her as well, and get into exactly why these two want to take over the turf under the giant pentagram and become overlords. Episode 4 is called Masquerade. Hazbin Hotel and Helluva are very stylish, I would say. VivziePop likes to explore different visual themes to help explore her characters' stories. In Helluva, this manifests as the Rings of Hell, with each location setting a different tone using its colors. In Hazbin Hotel, we will be restricted to the red sky of the Pride Ring, and I imagine from episode to episode we'll be exploring different places and different events that might require different costumes or set dressings in order to change up what the audience is seeing, even if the colors remain mostly red. While the hotel itself probably has a lot of fun areas to explore, staying there and in the area surrounding it would get repetitive without at least doing something like having Charlie put on a masquerade ball in order to spice things up. Perhaps this episode will be Charlie inviting a lot of friends and family to the hotel in an attempt to inspire growth, and of course this could go disastrously wrong. There are a lot of things this title could mean, however, so take this theory with a grain of salt. Episode 5, Dad Beat Dad. This is of course a play on the phrase deadbeat dad. In the show, several characters could be said to have deadbeat dads. A deadbeat dad specifically is a dad who doesn't make child support payments and elsewise isn't very involved in his child's life. However, it's been colloquially evolving to really include any father who neglects their child in some way. A rich parent could be a deadbeat in a sense if they are just never actually around to see their child, perhaps leaving them in the care of nannies like Lucifer and Lilith might have done with Charlie. The dad beat dad change to the phrase implies two dads will be in the episode, and that will perhaps get some sort of fight between them. In addition to Charlie with her father Lucifer, this could of course allude to Angel's father. While Angel and his family were said to work in a mob together, it was something Angel seemed to struggle with, and when he made it to hell, he'd end up becoming an adult star instead of joining his dad's demonic drug business. It would be really cool for Lucifer and Angel's father Arachnus to both appear in the same episode, with the two getting into a fight, but that seems a bit below Lucifer without more context. The rest of the cast may also have fathers who were deadbeats, however, and one of their dads may just be the second dad referenced in the title. We mostly focus on Alistair's relationship with his mother, someone Alistair speaks rather fondly of, but somewhere in hell he probably has his dad, and perhaps Charlie would invite him to some sort of friends and family event where he would get into a fight with Angel's dad. It could really be anyone's dad, as there are lots of characters to explore, so let me know your theories if you have different ones in the comments down below. Following this is episode 6, titled Welcome to Heaven, which I believe will be part of a 3-part story to end the season. We see some gift previews that include the angel Adam and one of his exorcist underlings, but it is very clearly in the Pride Ring of Hell, and thus I believe this preview to still take place in episode 1. We're not sure what the conflict is here, but I don't think it's from episode 6. VivziePop said in early interviews that we might see heaven as early as episode 2, and I believe we will probably get a glimpse of it before this episode, similar to how we got a small look of heaven in episode 4 of Helluva Boss thanks to the Cherubs TV commercial. As the title suggests, however, this episode will be the first time we get to really go into heaven, and I imagine it will have to do with Charlie giving her case to some sort of angelic council about what she is trying to do at the Happy Hotel. The entire meeting will probably just be a setup to embarrass her, as I don't imagine the angels will take it any more seriously than the citizens of Hell did in the pilot. This is episode 6 in a season of only 8 episodes, so these last few episodes are probably going to be building into a bigger emotional conflict. I've theorized before that if Charlie brought the Hazbin Hotel gang to heaven, she would try to show their growth to the angels to prove that they should be admitted there, but it would probably go horribly wrong, when everyone ends up being only their worst possible selves while up there. I imagine Alistair asking small cute cherubs if they've ever tried eating another cherub before, and what they'd taste like, scaring them with his cannibalistic mindset. I imagine Angel flirting with sexy angelic guards, and perhaps even swaying one into his demonic gay ways. Husk seems to be the guy who sneaks the vices into the hotel for people like Angel, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up sneaking some booze into heaven to give to the angels up there, getting them all drunk. Charlie would be forced to see what her test subjects would actually do to heaven if they were let in, and be told that they could never consider actually letting sinners become angels. Episode 7, Hella Rosie. Rosie is a longtime fan favorite side character in Hazbin Hotel who only appeared briefly in the pilot as an overlord, crossing out the name of a man who owned a little emporium with her before dying on the night of the annual extermination. Rosie was hyped up as an old friend of Alistair's in early live streams, and he even mentions her to a bunch of cannibal women in the Alistair prequel comic that used to be available on the official Hazbin Hotel website. In live streams, VivziePop even said that Rosie and Alistair would have a duet, and I imagine that will be in this episode. As the second to last episode, it's very curious what will go on here, and I imagine the previous episode's plot will carry over, with Rosie being rather relevant to it in some way that we just can't understand yet. Finally, episode 8, the season finale, The Show Must Go On. This title is very simple and just implies that the season finale is not the series finale, and just about anything could happen here. With the context of the Heaven episode, I really do think that this will be a 3-episode arc of Charlie becoming disillusioned with her dream, but then making it to the finale and deciding that she has to keep going, that she can't give up even if her father and the angels themselves say that sinners will never be allowed into heaven. Perhaps what she will see at this point is that the Hazbin Hotel gang really has grown since she started working with them, and while they may never get into heaven, she may be able to fix their lives while continuing the ruse that there is always hope. Most of the gang will have probably come to enjoy their life at the hotel in some way, not just because of the weird therapy, but because it's just an easier way to live, a way that probably helps them escape their vices, even if only to a lesser degree because of the pressure it removes from their life, such as having to pay for their rent. But it will be enough to get them to want to stay here and see where things go. Perhaps they'll even do it for Charlie's sake, convincing her that the show must go on, the beginning of all the characters really starting to change, having empathy for one another, and putting on a show that things might get better. But what do you guys think? Let me know your theories on Season 1 in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.